Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Growfolds, and today we will be grocery store plant shopping at Kroger Marketplace in North McKinney, Texas. This is one of the grocery stores that I like to go shop at just because they have some really good plants. And as always, please make sure you are hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe with the notification button for my channel. I do daily 1 hour plant shopping videos for you, and today is a beautiful sunny day, and we're going to be looking at some plants at Kroger. I really like Kroger just because they offer outdoor plants, indoor plants, and you wouldn't think to look for plants at a grocery store, but as you can see, they've got a lot of outdoor plants right over here. Kroger is a local grocery store that you can see in many cities all across the United States, and they are prevalent out in North Dallas, which is where I am based at. So for all my new viewers, welcome. My name is Richie, and I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. And you can see right here, we've got a bunch of tropical plants for $29.99. We've got some dwarf looking sunflowers here. I actually grew a bunch of sunflowers last year, kind of just threw the sunflower seeds in the ground and they sprouted. They got massive, and I really like the sunflowers that they have here. The dwarf ones are really nice. These are in 12-inch planters. With sunflowers, as you can tell, need to be in full sun. And right over here, we've got some hen and chick succulent vases. These, I believe, are for $12.99 or $14.99. Let's just $14.99. And what's really cool about hen and chick succulents is that they self-propagate. They literally push out babies that you can separate and propagate. You can see that the greener ones are just the new babies right there, or the chicks. And here is another one right over here where there are just a bunch of like hen and chick succulents. Really cute succulent, one that can multiply. I would say if you put this in the ground, if your area can allow that, they will definitely multiply and become a succulent ground cover. Really cute looking succulent. And again, I'm still learning about succulents. What I do know about succulents is that they do need bright light, maybe full sun, and they will grow very well. And then right over here, we are looking at a bunch of different types of hibiscus plants. My family is from the Philippines, and we call hibiscus plants gomamela. They definitely do not tolerate cooler conditions, so these would be perfect for climates that get really hot. They like humidity as well, and I love the fact that they have different types of hibiscus here. And I just like to set up a Kroger. Like right here is a hibiscus Rico Suave. I love the yellow hibiscus flower, and these are all for $24.99. So these are by Hollywood Hibiscus, so I guess they have their own varieties of hibiscus here, but you can see the yellow hibiscus is absolutely stunning. I love yellow. Yellow is the color of joy, and you know, plants are supposed to bring us joy. You know, I often do these big box shopping videos just so I can talk about plants. I really love the fact that we've created a community of plant foldies, and for those that are tuning in for the first time, please make sure you are hitting the like button and subscribing, and also participating in our live premiere chats. We do daily live premiere chats around 7 or 8 Central Standard Time. And I would love to get to know you guys. Don't be shy to say hi. We've got a lot of regulars that are on the chat, and I do appreciate you for doing that. And then you can see right here, America's Sweetheart hibiscus. What a gorgeous looking hibiscus. Very delicate looking. I like the color of it. It's got white, and then it slowly goes into pink, and then a deep red. And you can't go outdoor plant shopping for plants without seeing a knockout rose. I featured knockout roses in many of my videos, and most of my videos have begun as indoor tropical plant shopping videos, but now that spring is in full force, I will be showing you a lot of outdoor gardening plants. I like to give you guys just different varieties of plants to look at because I love growing plants outdoors as well. I love landscaping. It's one of those things that just plants in general. Now we are going to be walking into Kroger, so I would say Kroger, the indoor plants are always going to be located in the floral section, and I can't get away from looking at these indoor azalea or Azalea simpsii. Kroger has an ample amount of indoor azaleas, so I've actually got a couple of clearanced out indoor azaleas a little while back, right after Valentine's Day. I ended up getting them for $6.99, and they used to be like $19.99, so they were a really good deal. But anyways, what I found with these indoor azaleas is If you let them dry out at all, the plant will literally start to drop its leaves and it won't do very well. This azalea also needs to have a little bit higher humidity. These are really not meant to be grown outdoors, so they can't be grown in the landscape. They don't really like warmer climate. So like if your house is a little bit warm, these will not do well as well. They do like bright indirect light. Obviously with all of these flowering plants, it takes a lot of energy for the plant to produce a bloom. And in order for the plant to get energy, it needs to photosynthesize, meaning it needs to get a lot of light to do that. And you can see right here, we always will see kalanchoe. Kalanchoe, you know, to my surprise, I didn't realize was actually a succulent type plant. The ones that we see here are the floral kalanchoe, the ones that are a little bit more vigorous in their blooms. This one is for $14.99. Love that yellow bloom for the kalanchoe, but I do like kalanchoe because there are so many varieties of colors to choose from, and right next to it, you know, this is just stunning. Love the fact that these indoor azaleas are always available. I feel like one of my azaleas just didn't do well, so I ended up having to toss it in the trash. It just died on me, but you know, I got it for clearance. And that's the thing about plants, you know, plants in general, even if we give it the best care conditions, there's always going to be some type of casualty. So don't beat yourself up. I did feel bad for a little bit, but then I just realized that, you know, there are going to be casualties for plants no matter how much love and care we give it. We just have to learn from our mistakes. And I think my mistake for growing, you know, the indoor azaleas is I let it dry out. And I am an underwaterer, meaning I don't water my plants as much as most people do. And that is the demise of an indoor azalea. But these azalea simsii, like these are absolutely stunning. I love that they come up with many different varieties. I am happy that my variegated sport indoor azalea is doing well. I do have it in a shaded patio area just because it does shed its leaves, and I don't really want to keep vacuuming my wood floor. So it's outside in a cooler area of my back patio. And you can see right over here, we've got some more azalea simsii. The larger ones in the 6-inch planters are going to be $19.99. The 4-inch planters, I believe, are $9.99. So if you have a Kroger and you want to grow some azalea simsii or indoor azalea, definitely go here. I do think that they have some really healthy looking azaleas. They're always available. So it's not like one of those things where if I killed an azalea, I won't be able to find another indoor azalea. I just learned from it. Now with azaleas, if you're able to get the soil a little bit more acidic, it's going to do better just because it's able to take its nutrients more efficiently. And then over here, we've got some more tropical plants. Now we've been looking at a lot of cordyline. We can see some spathiphyllum or peace lilies. These are all for $29.99. That's actually not a bad price for the spathiphyllum. Now with these cordyline Hawaiian tea plants, I love them, and I really need to get my other one that I bought at Walmart planted in a bigger pot. Now, I would grow these in full sun. They say to put them in shade, but actually putting them in full sun will give you these beautiful pink leaves. The variegation is going to be a little bit more pronounced, and that is actually, you know, there's some plants that variegation is influenced by the total genetics or light. This one is influenced definitely by light. The more light you give it, so if you give it full sun, it's going to give you some bright pinks, and I love the cordyline plant. Now we're going to see if I can grow those indoors eventually, but spathiphyllum or peace lilies, very easy to grow plant. They are a thirsty plant, so if you underwater them, the leaves will just kind of shrivel up and droop, but as soon as you water it, it'll perk back up. It's what I call a dramatic plant, but it's not a plant that if you underwater it won't be forgiving. Calatheas, I would say, would be a plant that if you underwater it too much, it will not be forgiving. But spathiphyllum, or what you call peace lilies, gorgeous looking plant. I love the shine on the leaves, the texture of the leaves, and it's one that can really tolerate lower light conditions. Now we're going to walk over here and look at a bunch of Phalaenopsis orchids. You know, orchids are synonymous to grocery store floral areas. They're really considered like a living flower that you would give to somebody rather than cut flowers. And you can see right here, look at this gorgeous Phalaenopsis orchid. I really like the fact that they have different varieties, different sizes. This one is the Espresso Vase right here. I don't have the price for it, but it's really cute if you have a small space. Now with orchids, you know, somebody had asked, how long do orchid blooms last? Typically, they'll last for about a month, maybe 2 months, just really depending on your care. Now with Phalaenopsis azaleas, which is what we're looking, not azaleas, orchids that we're looking at. And wait a minute, look at this. I have never seen a variegated orchid. I thought this might have been a sport variegated one. It might be, but look at the edge of the leaves of this orchid. That's really cool. I was almost tempted to buy it, and you can see right over here there's another variegated one. Those were like the only two, so not sure if that is a specific type of orchid, but that is really cool to see a variegated orchid out at a grocery store. It kind of reminds me of Sansevieria or like a snake plant, just the fact that it's got the, you know, the variegation on the edges of the leaves. But anyways, with Phalaenopsis orchids, you want to make sure that you are potting it up in a medium like orchid bark. You definitely don't want to overwater it. You can tell when the roots are needing water. It's when it's got like a light gray color. Once you water it, the roots are going to look more like a green color, and that you just need to let it dry out completely. Actually, underwatering orchids is the best thing because their roots would easily rot. Now, they're considered epiphytes, which means in the wild, their roots are typically just attached to like a tree. They don't really grow in soil, so never really grow in orchids in straight or soil. That will definitely kill it. You can get these orchids to rebloom, but it does take some time. I just love the fact that there are so many orchids to choose from, and I saw this a little while ago. So St. Patrick's Day is over, but these oxalis or these shamrock plants are readily available, and that's the thing about Kroger or a lot of even big box stores. They try to stay seasonally relevant, and these ones are reduced, or I would believe are reduced. Let's take a look at this. These are reduced to $2.20, so that is awesome. It looks like they've marked it down even further. I thought I saw them for like $3, but for $2.20, I'm definitely gonna purchase a green one like this. And if I can find the purple oxalis, I'll go ahead and do it. Since I asked, you know, a lot of my viewers and subscribers, you Plant Foley said that you can actually grow these successfully indoors, so I'm going to attempt to do that. I think they're a gorgeous plant, and you know, if it ends up dying, I only spend $2.20, so it's not bad. It's a risk that I would take. And that's the thing about doing grocery store plant shopping. You can get more clearance plants at a grocery store because they treat their plants as if they're produce. So you want to keep them fresh, healthy, and if it starts to decline in its health, they'll start to reduce them. Or if it's a seasonal type plant like this, most people would look at this as more of like a St. Patty's Day type decoration. It's going to get reduced. Now with oxalis, they are grown from a bulb. They're considered a perennial. They actually can be used as ground cover. I actually had one grow in my front yard, and every year the purple oxalis plant just keeps coming back. So I think that's really cool. Now I'm going to go pan over here and talk about the indoor tropical plants. I know that most of you guys are really interested in that, but again, I hope you guys appreciate my attempt to show you guys outdoor plants, succulents, flowering plants, just a lot of different varieties. Please leave in the comment if you guys want to continue to see that, because there's only so many times I can show you, for instance, this polka dot plant. Now this one is for $9.99. This is in a 4.5-inch planter. This is sourced out by Mason Farms, which is a nursery out in New Mexico. Polka dot plants, if you ask me, are actually a challenging plant. They're gorgeous to look at, but the thing about it is they need to stay wet. Their soil needs to be moist, but if you overwater it, they end up browning and crisping. So it's one of the plants that I think just really requires a little bit more care and humidity. Now this is a cool looking red Photonia plant. I do like that the subtleties of the leaves have that black margin around it, and even the undersides are a little bit darker. So this is a different type of Photonia. I've thought about getting Photonias to add into my plant collection. I have yet to do that. You know, most of my plants right now are consist of Epipremnum aureums or pothos, Philodendron heteroeciums, and a ton of Aglonema. And right over here, we've got a Croton petra. This is a common croton. Now with crotons, again, it is a tropical plant, and this one is for $9.99 in a 4.5-inch planter. That actually is not a bad price at all. I would actually buy a croton from Kroger. Now with crotons, especially this one, will be influenced more with better color if you give it bright light. I am actually currently growing one out in full sun facing the south. so it gets a lot of light all day. This one is a plumosa fern. I'm not sure about the care tips of this fern. I do know that it is, it's a beautiful fern, very delicate looking fern, and this one is for $9.99. It's got some new growth coming around. So if you are aware of what type of care conditions are, please leave that in the comments. And also just even in the live premiere chats. And guys, right over here, it's your favorite Hydra Helix. Now for my plant foldy Kathy, that's Hydra Helix #1 and 2. I know you guys have been keeping track of how many times I say that the correct pronunciation of an English ivy is Hedera helix, but for some reason you guys like me saying Hydra helix, so I will continue to do that. But you can see that Kroger actually has a bunch of English ivy. This is just the green variety. I love English ivy, but it is one of the most challenging plants to grow indoors. A lot of people say that this is really not an indoor plant. It does better outdoors, because the reason being with Hydra helix or Hedera helix, English ivy, they are very spider mite prone, and they're just very finicky plants. A plant that is not finicky and easy to take care of, though, is this peperomia marble. I've thought about getting a peperomia marble just because I love the variegation, and this one is for $9.99. So if I am going to buy a peperomia marble, it would come from Kroger. Kroger is one of those grocery stores that typically sources out the same plants, but you'd be surprised, even though you'll see all of the peperomia marbles, all of the different types of English ivy that they offer. I've seen some alocasia stingrays and some, hard to find plants. And that's the interesting thing about Kroger. They also offer trending tropical Costa Farm plants for $16.99, which is actually the most inexpensive of all the big box stores I've visited. So I'm always on the lookout for that. And then right over here, we've got some type of Dieffenbachia. So now that it's a little bit warmer, I am thinking about adding some more Dieffenbachia to my plant collection. The care tips for Dieffenbachia is it does need a lot of bright indirect light. I will be growing my Dieffenbachia out in my patio, maybe my front patio or back patio, where it's going to get a little bit more light, and we'll see. Dieffenbachia tend to get leggy when you don't give it a lot of light, so that's one of the challenges of growing it. And then right over here, we've got another gorgeous peperomia marble. I would actually buy this particular one because of the variegation. There is a little bit of cosmetic damage to one of the leaves, but that's not too bad. I would just cut it off. But look at how gorgeous that variegation is. Now, when you touch the texture of the peperomia marble, it's got a waxy texture. And then this is only for $9.99 in a 4.5-inch planter. So that's not bad at all. I am not a fan of the plastic planters that Kroger has these in. Typically, a grocery store would have them wrapped in some aluminum foil, but for some reason they have been putting these in a plastic planter. I would have preferred them in aluminum foil, so that way they don't have to actually use plastic. I am all about trying to save the environment. I save all of my water bottles if I have to drink from a water bottle, and I do my recycling. So seeing a lot of these planters, plastic planters actually kind of disturb me slightly, just because look at all of the plastic that we use up. Now, this is a nice looking peperomia raisinette, $13.99. I would definitely get this peperomia raisinette. I ended up finding a similar looking peperomia called peperomia red luna by Costa Farms Trending Tropicals. It had purple and also silver. This one is really just purple, and I love the fact that they kind of look like raisins, or the color of raisins. So nice looking peperomia, got some gorgeous texture. Now with this type of peperomia, you want to try to water it bottom water rather than getting the stems and leaves wet. Otherwise they'll start to rot off. And right over here, we've got a Palea aluminum plant. This one is for $9.99. 4.5-inch planters. I love aluminum plants just because they've got that metallic shine, and it's one of those plants that are easy to take care of. They do like a little bit more humidity, and you definitely don't want their soil to dry up completely. They like to stay on the moist side. That's really all I have for Palea aluminum plants. Aluminum plants are easy to propagate as well. And that's the thing, they do get leggy, so you want to make sure that you're constantly pinching back and trimming them to encourage more bushy growth. And with all of the cuttings that you trim off, you can just stick it in water and it will root in water. It'll take about a week or two and you'll get another propagation and more free plants. I am all about getting free plants and just plants on a budget. I love to save on plants, and that is why I am always in a big box store showing you guys plant pricing. Lately, I would say grocery store plants, especially outdoor plants, are going to be the most cost effective. Kroger is a good candidate to get plants. Like for instance, here is a Korean buck fern for $9.99. So I'm not sure what makes it different. I would have thought this was like the rabbit's foot fern, black rabbit's foot fern, but this is a Korean buck fern for $9.99. I have yet to add ferns into my collection, but that's one of those things where once you add one type of plant in your collection, you're going to want to collect all the different species. I've caught myself doing that obviously with like aglaonemas and pothos plants. And this one right here is another polka dot plant. This one is a white splash one for $9.99. I think that these plants look great. I just don't, I haven't had the best luck growing them, and I've attempted to grow them a couple of times, and it's one of those plants that I don't love it enough, like a Hydra helix, to where I'm gonna actually add that to my collection again. So lots of nice looking plants. And then right over here, speaking of it, we've got a gold baby Hydra helix. This Hedera helix English ivy is a gorgeous one. I actually have a baby gold Hydra helix or Hedera helix. I do like the variegation on it. It's got more of a yellow Aurea variegation. And my tricks to growing a Hedera helix or English ivy indoors, I spray it with neem oil once a week. I have it right next to a humidifier, and I let the soil dry out completely. Overwatering it actually will make the English ivy unhappy, and it'll start to get leggy and kill, drop its leaves. It would actually make the plant a little bit more unhealthy. And when a plant is unhealthy, it is more susceptible to pests. For some reason, plants apparently release a pheromone that lets it know that it's more unhealthy, and that's when pests start to attack it. So you've just got to stay close to the Hedera helix. And right over here, we've been seeing a lot of bromeliads. I actually think this bromeliad is really cool. It's one of those that don't have the I guess blunt blooms. This one has more of that purple texture. I do like the look of this bromeliad. I currently don't have bromeliads, and I really don't know a lot about bromeliad care. All I do know is that with bromeliads, plant foliage, you've seen multiple videos. I will always feature one because they are available at so many big box stores. Here is one of my favorite plant species, and that is an aglaonema. This is an aglaonema Mary Ann. This kind of looks like an aglaonema Maria, an aglaonema Juliet, and this one is for $12.99. That's not a bad price for an aglaonema. Typically, aglaonemas are a little bit more pricey, but what I do like about aglaonemas, especially the green varieties, is one, they're easy to take care of because they can tolerate lower light conditions, and they can they definitely like to be more underwater. They like to keep their soil a little bit more dry versus overwatering it, because their roots they tend to root rot easy. And then right over here is a Dracaena Marley. I do like this Dracaena specifically, and this one is for $13.99, I believe. And with Dracaenas, another plant that is underrated but very easy to grow. They can get large, and look at that green striping on the leaves. Now, I asked my plant folies watching this live in the live premiere, would you grow a Dracaena? Do you grow Dracaenas? I currently have only one Dracaena, and that's the Dracaena Tornado, but I wouldn't be opposed to getting more Dracaenas just because they're easy to take care of. And then right over here, we've got another palm. Now with palms, I stay away from palms, and this one's for $13.99. And the reason why I stay away from palms is because palms are a little bit more susceptible to mealybugs and spider mites, and they require so much light. So if you have all of those conditions going against the plant, it's one of those plants that I don't really have the time or care to really invest to really make it thrive. So I don't have it in my collection. Now, right over here is a 6-inch Alocasia Black Velvet for $19.99. Look at how gorgeous this Alocasia Black Velvet is. Now, with an Alocasia Black Velvet, this is considered more of an uncommon Alocasia, but I would say now that it's in big box stores and grocery stores, you can easily find them. I would say a couple years back, this was a plant that was a little bit more pricey, a little bit more hard to get. And now that, I would say plants are more readily available, different species of plants, just because one, tissue culture is a thing, and then two, I'm sure that people have just mass propagated them, and that is one of the Alocasias that I've seen a lot of. And it's nice to see that if you are just grocery store shopping, and you're not really looking for plants, sometimes you'll find some good finds. Now this is another good find right over here. This is a cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. I do like this cordyline Hawaiian tea plant just because, again, it is one of those plants that has like that dark burgundy color with the hot pink. And if you just give it a lot of light, it's going to even get more pinks. And over here, we've got some more bromeliads. Now, these are all Costa Farm releases, and you can see the pricing here. Now, I don't know the specifics of all of the bromeliad species or names. I just know that they're bromeliads. And right over here, we've got some more polka dot plants. We've got a red polka dot plant and a pink one. And this is actually a bromeliad I prefer. I like these types of bromeliads because look at this. From viewing from the top, you can see that there's some cream variegation, and then that hot pink is just gorgeous, and it just looks like somebody spray painted that. It doesn't even look like a real plant, but I'm just amazed that nature is able to give you these different types of colors. And then right over here, we've got some more cordyline or Hawaiian tea plants. Now, the thing about Hawaiian tea plants, if you try to grow that indoors, they are very much spider mite prone. And that's the reason why I haven't attempted to grow them. They are really better suited for like a shaded patio to grow them outdoors. But we'll see if I'm going to be able to grow them. And then you can see right over here, Live Trends. I do love Live Trends because Live Trends really does elevate their planters. Like you can see right here, these are ready for Easter, these little Easter bunny planters. And it is so cute that they have this little Tradescanthia right over here. Now with Tradescanthia, they're very easy to grow, and these are only for $7.99. I know that Trader Joe's actually offers bunny planters as well, and you can see that they've got different types of plants here. This one right here is a spider plant. I do want to grow a spider plant just because I find that when they shoot off those babies, they're so cute. There are a couple of local plant nurseries I would visit, like Plants and Planters, which is located out in Richardson, Texas, would be a place I would buy one. If you haven't seen my local plant nursery shopping videos, check them out. I do have a separate playlist now for them. I would love for you guys to really see some of the Dallas plant nurseries because we've got a ton of them, aside from just my big box store plant shopping videos. And you can see here, we just saw a Dieffenbachia, and then this one right here is a very juvenile Monstera deliciosa. I do like Monstera deliciosas in juvenile form. I really wish that they would just remain that way sometimes instead of fenestrating, just because look at how gorgeous the heart-shaped leaves are. They remind me of like a philodendron heteroecium, but obviously growing upright and not trailing. So I really like that juvenile look about the Monstera deliciosa. Now, mind you, this plant will eventually grow very large, so they definitely wouldn't stay in these little rabbit planters. And then right over here, we've got another Peperomia obtusifolia. This one is just the green variety. So you saw the Peperomia obtusifolia marble. This one is just more of like the green on green variegation. I do like that it has subtle variegation right over here. Look at that. That's really gorgeous. And again, with peperomias, if you are somebody that's starting to grow houseplants for the first time, that would be another plant I would recommend, aside from like a pothos plant, a peace lily, or even an aluminum plant like this. Like, I love the look of this aluminum plant. Now this one is for $7.99 because it's in this little cute rabbit planter, but aluminum plants, the only thing that they have, the problem with them is they can get leggy. So as soon as you start to see the leaves start to get the stems get leggy, start trimming it down. And then right over here for $19.99, we've got another Hedera Helix. This Hedera Helix, or English ivy, is a full one. It's just a green one. There's not any variegation, but I do like the look of it. Now, if you ask me why I like English ivy so much, they remind me of maple leaves, the shape of maple leaves, specifically trident maples. And actually, I visited Metro Maples, so stay tuned to go see that plant nursery. It's a nursery out in Fort Worth, Texas, that specializes in Japanese maples. So I hope you guys will tune in for that as well. And you can see right here for $12.99, we've got a Ficus lyrata, or a fiddle fig leaf tree. I like this a lot, and the one I got for 99 cents at another grocery store called Sprouts is doing very well for me. With Ficus lyrata, they just like to be placed in a very sunny spot in your home, or someplace that you get bright indirect light. But look at all of these gorgeous looking plants. We've got tons of them, and I just want to pan over here and show you a couple more of these plants. So we've got another Dieffenbachia right here for $7.99 in this little rabbit planter. I think that's really cute. We've got a another Triscanthia here. This is a purple one. This one is called a Wandering Jew Triscanthia. This was one of the common ones you will see, and these are so easy to propagate and multiply. You can take several cuttings even from this one and get a plant that would be a little bit more full. And then we just have a bunch more of indoor tropical plants. We've got a jade plant right here, or a crassula succulent. I really like this a lot. This is just a common jade plant, and I know Kathy, my plant foley, wanted to see more of these jade plants, so I'm going to try to find more as they become more readily available when I shop. And you can see they've got another Ficus elastica. This one is the burgundy. I love Ficus elastica or rubber tree plants. These ones are for $13.99. That's not a bad price at all for a Ficus elastica burgundy. I do have one that I have really neglected. I would even say it was abused because we kept it in the garage over the winter. But now that there's a lot more light, I am growing my Ficus plants outdoors because they get a lot more light that way. And let's see, right over here is the highly variegated version of a Ficus elastica. This one is a Ficus taniki. This one is also a gorgeous looking plant. Now with this one, any of these Ficus plants, you can really flood it with a lot of light. I've even grown a Ficus elastica taniki out in a full sun southern part of my landscape, and it didn't burn. The leaves didn't burn. So I really like that a lot. I do think that Ficus elastica or rubber tree plants are meant to really grow outdoors. They are considered a tree. They can get really large, and it's one of the plants that are easy to propagate as well. You can get a lot of branching by just cutting off the branching. And see, right over here, we've got another Epipremnum aureum. This is the Marble Queen Pothos. I do love the Marble Queen Pothos just because of the variegation. It is a easy to take care of plant. So if you are watching my videos and you want a plant recommendation, I would recommend this plant as a starter plant. You can propagate many cuttings from it. They root in water very easily. And the only thing about Marble Queen is if you want to maintain that variegation, you do need to give it a little bit more bright light. Otherwise, it'll start to get a little bit more green and possibly revert back to green in all the way. So that is, my care tips for a Marble Queen Pothos. And I just love that this Kroger has so many plants. Right over here, this Kroger has a bunch of Easter lilies. These always come out, and these are for $16.99. I love the smell of Easter lilies. They are so fragrant and gorgeous, and I really like that about Easter lilies. What I love about Easter lilies is just the smell, and then just the white blooms. I've talked about this before, but I love white flowers. I think it's a classic, elegant look about them. And this Easter lilies, $16.99 at Kroger. Easter is literally just a couple of days away from now. I wonder if you guys have any plans for Easter. For me, I like to spend it with my family. My sister's gonna come over, and we're gonna have an Easter egg hunt for my nephew and nieces in the backyard. So that'll be a fun little activity. But with Easter lilies, these are all seasonal plants. So if you don't buy it before Easter, you're going to pay $16.99. But right after Easter, I'm sure those will get reduced, just like these purple oxalis plants. These are for $2.20. And yes, I will be buying the green version and the purple version. And it looks like they've got a couple of other plants here that are reduced. So, but this is the one I'm most interested in. I just like the fact that these will grow, and apparently they do go dormant. So in indoor settings, you would need to give it a little bit more bright light and warmer conditions so it doesn't go dormant. And I did want to pan over here and show you this gorgeous looking display of spring flowers, bulb flowers. We've got a bunch of daffodils, tulips, hyacinth. They've got this little rabbit here. Happy Easter indeed. So these are all very much Easter looking plants. They've got some miniature roses. They've got some residual St. Patty's Day oxalis or shamrock plants. And these again are for $2.20. I'm going to buy these two. Those are the ones I've chosen to take home with me. So we're going to see what that looks like. And We've got some hyacinths, and hyacinths have such fragrant blooms. The same with lilies. I really like that a lot. And whenever I look at hyacinths and tulips, I am reminded of Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's a Nintendo Switch video game that I play. My island actually has a bunch of dog villagers. That's the only villagers I have. And I used to grow a bunch of like hyacinths and a bunch of tulips, even virtually. And you can see right over here, what a gorgeous looking azalea, Simpsii or indoor azalea. It makes me want to grow them even more so. But you know, I've realized that with plants that require a little bit more water, they're just not going to work out for me, at least currently, because I am super busy, not only with work, but also with producing YouTube videos. So I hope you guys can, you know, reward my efforts to produce daily content for you by just hitting the like button. I swear that hitting that like button, or according to my #1 plant foldie, Luke, smashing that like button for my videos really helps with the YouTube engagement. They actually push my videos out to even more people who love plants, and I would really love to just see our community grow. And you can see we just passed by a bunch of miniature roses and these gorgeous looking yellow daffodils. What a nice looking plant. And all of these bulb plants are considered perennial. So if you do grow them in outdoors in your landscape, they will always grow back year after year and multiply. So I think that's really cool. I would love to grow a couple of bulb plants. Every year I forget to put my tulip bulbs in. I've had them for about 2 years, so I'm not sure if they'll grow. But anyways, now it is evening and I will be big box store plant shopping at Walmart off of Custer Road out in Frisco, Texas. This is the one right off Highway 121. And again, I will remind you guys, if you made it this far, please make sure you are hitting the like button. And we're just gonna walk over here. Now, this is a Walmart that typically doesn't have the best selection for plants. I typically see their plants, or at least their trending tropical plants and indoor house plants, in this section, and it's really not a good section because even though it's out in the front of the store, it's really difficult to look at the plants. But I do want to show you this. What a gorgeous looking Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue pothos. Now this one has a little bit more yellow variegation here. Now these are for $19.84, Costa Farms Trending Tropical. And you can see that this is a philodendron tortum. Look at how sad this philodendron tortum is though. It took a lot of beating, and you know, that's the thing. I would love to get a tortum, but every time I go to Walmart, the tortums are just not in a good shape to where I would purchase them. And you can see that this is probably one of the more newer release plants by Costa Farms because they have that little nameplate stake. And look at this, Epipremnum pinnatum albo. Now this is new. I've never seen an Epipremnum Epipremnum pinnatum albo, offered out at a Walmart. So this is cool. So maybe we'll see more of these. Now this one isn't as highly variegated, but it is really interesting now that it's a trending tropical plant. You know, these plants 2 to 3 years ago were a little bit more expensive. Now you can buy a full 6-inch planter in a self-watering planter for $19.84. That's pretty cool. I actually like the fact that we can find these. I have a very mature looking one on a pole, and it has fenestrated. So that particular plant wants to grow up a pole, and you'll get the best fenestrations from it. Now, if you don't know what the meaning of fenestration means, it means that the leaves start to split and change shape. And you can see here, now this is what you call a lemon meringue pothos. I really like that a lot. And then we just have the regular Epipremnum aureum. I would call these, instead of golden pothos, these would be considered more of jade pothos, just because the variegation isn't as high. Needless to say, though, this is for $9.97 in a 6-inch planter by Garden Expert. And that's not a bad price at all. And then we've got some more self-watering planters here. These are full 6-inch planters for Aglonema, and Aglonema are my favorite types of plants to grow. Look at that. This is a gorgeous Aglonema right here. And I like the fact that this Aglonema is a little bit lighter. It's got more of a mint green to it, and the stems are white. I love white stem plants, especially white stem Aglonemas. I think they are lovely. They have such a good contrast. It's a very bold looking plant. And with Aglonemas, again, the only thing that you could do to kill an Aglonema is literally to overwater it. They prefer to be more underwatered. So literally with an Aglonema, let the soil dry out completely, give it a soak, and just wait for the soil to dry out completely again. if you are an avid plant foldie and you watch my videos daily, you will always see an aglaonema, red siam, or what you would call a siam aurora. This is another one. This is for $14.97. So here is another plant recommendation. If you're going to start houseplants, you can grow this one or even the previous aglaonema I showed. And then this one is another aglaonema that I wish I knew the plant ID for, but this one is actually just labeled as an aglaonema species. So I don't know if it actually has an aglaonema name for it. That's the thing about aglaonemas, so they all look very similar. There's just a few differences. So I'm not sure what type of cultivar this one is, but look at that white stem, gorgeous. I actually converted a lot of my aglaonema to hydroponics, which is basically growing a plant bare root in water, no substrate, no soil, no leca, no nothing. It's straight hydroponics, and it's been doing very well for me. It takes the guessing game of whether you need to go water a plant or not. Now, whenever you do convert a plant to hydroponics, some of the plant's health will decline a little bit just because some of those roots would rot away, but it will start to grow what you call water roots. And then here's another Ficus lyrata or a fiddle fig leaf tree. This one is for $14.97 by Costa Farms, again in a self-watering planter. This can get very large. It can get up to 20 feet tall in so many years. So that's the thing about some of the plants. You have to consider what space you have and yeah, just the space and the lighting conditions. But you can see there are tons of Easter lilies out and about. You know, again, if you want to buy an Easter lily, sometimes it's better just to buy it past the Easter, so you can get them for reduced prices. And you can see right here, we've got some more Dieffenbachias. I do like Dieffenbachias, and you know, if I'm going to take a risk with growing a Dieffenbachia, I would buy the Garden Expert ones for $9.97 because these are in 6-inch planters. Not a bad price at all. With Dieffenbachia, like this one is a Dieffenbachia Camille. It's a little bit more highly variegated. They are gorgeous plants. The only thing about Dieffenbachia is they are toxic to pets. So if you have fur, you know, like if you have cats or dogs that like to bite foliage, you do not want that because these are toxic plants. I wanted to start talking about that actually as I do more plant shopping videos, so that way for those who have pets, you can be a little bit more aware. And now I'm going to walk over here. So I talked about in a previous video how I was looking for coleus leaves, coleus plant seeds. So we're going to just see if they have it. I will show you some of my favorite seeds to grow. I love growing this particular zinnia. These are the candy cane mix because these are variegated zinnias. Zinnias are super easy to grow, and even though they're considered an annual, they always come back because for some reason their seeds just get scattered in the landscape and then they start to grow. I did start seeing that some people have really been into zinnia breeding, so like creating and cross-pollinating different types of zinnias. So you're going to see more and more zinnias. I know that there have been some like green zinnias that were produced, other different types of variegated zinnias. Like right over here is a peppermint stick mix. Love this a lot as well, and they really just take about 2 months to get a bunch of these zinnia blooms to grow. They make great cut flowers. I should probably post some of my pictures of my zinnia cut flowers on my Instagram. And if you are new or don't have an Instagram, I would recommend creating one. If you want to follow me, my Instagram name is @growfold, and you can send me a direct message. That is the fastest way to correspond with me. I respond to pretty much everybody's messages unless it is some type of spam or some type of Instagram bot. So otherwise, would love to engage with you on that. And you can see that there's just a lot of vegetable seeds. Now, if you are wanting to grow plants, I would say going the seed route would be the most cost-effective way. And, Burpee and all of the other, seed producers, you can get them at big box stores, but I'm going to try to find coleus plants. They have that rainbow mix that has so many different types of coleus, and I kind of want to document that. I'm going to put them in a greenhouse type dome and see how long it takes to grow them. I don't know why I am obsessed with coleus plants, but that's another plant that I want to just grow a lot of since my grandmother has influenced me. And you can see right over here, they've got some dahlias as well. I've been seeing a lot of dahlias, and all of these seeds by Fairy Morse are only $1.99 or $1.96. And I want to get this one. Love marigolds. You rarely see white marigolds. This is the Eskimo one for $1.96. So I'm going to purchase this seed today and see if I can grow them in a planter. I love the look of marigolds, and this one is actually an uncommon one. Well, now it's going to be common because you can see these seeds being offered at a big box store, but a couple years back they were a little bit more uncommon. You would have to go to like a specialty seeds company to get it. And we're going to look over here, and it looks like I might have found coleus plants. Yes, this is the rainbow mixed colors. So I am excited to see this. Now, for those that have grown this particular seed, how long does it take to germinate? Because I'm interested to see, and are they easy to grow? Did you get a lot of different types of colors? I'm really curious. So please leave that in the comments or in the live premiere chat. So that would be the seed I would get, as well as this white marigold called Eskimo. Really good looking one. I would love to grow marigolds because you can make marigold tea. It's really high in beta carotene, the petals are, and it's good for your eyesight. So that is the seeds that we have here, and I'm just going to keep looking at more seeds. And I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to show you some plants, and brace yourself because these plants probably are not going to be healthy. This particular Walmart doesn't have the best indoor section. For some reason, they have this little sad section where they have some plants that are dying. I will say they have had the best Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue pothos, unless Costa Farms has just released a lot of highly variegated ones. Look at the yellow on this variegation. Really nice looking pothos. And again, with this pothos, you really need to give it a lot of bright light to get the variegation. Otherwise it becomes more subdued with the greens, a little bit more subtle. But you can see that big contrast of this. And the thing about this lemon meringue pothos, though, it is a little bit slower growing and the leaves are a little smaller as compared to like a golden pothos. It is a sport variegation or mutation from the global green pothos, which is another favorite of mine. But this is an easy to care for plant. Any type of pothos is one that I would recommend for any starters. And just look at that variegation on the leaves. Gorgeous looking one. So this one is for $19.84 in a self-watering planter by Costa Farms. And then right over here, I am starting to see more Scindapsus trubria moonlights. That one isn't as healthy looking. This one is a little bit better looking, but this is another plant that I would like to add into my collection just because any type of Scindapsus plant, it kind of grows similar to a pothos plant. They have similar growth habits and care tips. They can tolerate lower light conditions, so that's a plus. They will just grow a little bit less and vigorous if they're in lower light conditions. If you grow these up on a totem, it likes to climb as well. The leaves will get larger. I would love to see that. And you can see right here is a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. This one is actually a very full Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. It is a shame that the leaves are starting to yellow. So it either has some type of pest or it's just been neglected. But look at all of the plants in this one 6-inch self-watering planter. This is another trending tropicals plant. Now this one definitely wants to climb up a pole. You can let it trail, but its natural habit is to want to climb up. And you can see this one is the same plant, but not nearly as full. So if I was going to buy a plant, I would buy the fuller plant. It is just unfortunate that that particular tetrasperma, Rhaphidophora tetrasperma that I showed you previously, is just unhealthy. This one is okay. It's just that it's a little bit bare. And you can see we've got a bunch of Monstera adansonias that are not looking too good. And then a Calathea dotty that has just shriveled up because it hasn't been watered. Now I'm going to show you guys a little bit more plants. These are the grafted cactus plants. So you can see that the color has just been grafted on there. And then I'm going to show you a bunch of succulents and aloe vera. So this one is a Kalanchoe dragon fire for $4.97. This is by Element Plants. So Element Plants is another plant supplier that specifically sends out succulent plants to Walmart. I really think that all of these succulents, the more I look at them, the more interesting they are. I just want to learn more about them. And then this one is another type of aloe vera for $4.97. Nice looking one, aloe vera plant. Some people start their plant journey having an aloe vera plant like gifted to them. This one has some spikes, so I think that's interesting, and it is in bloom, so it's happy. So anytime you see any type of like plant flowering, that means that it's mature and the right conditions have made it to where the plant feels like it can reproduce. So I really think that that's cool. And then right over here we've got another type of succulent This one is a nice looking one. This one is a white jewel glauca for $4.97. So I'm going to try to give you guys a little bit more of the plant IDs. Unfortunately, I have to read the labels because I don't know all of the plant names for succulents and cactus. That's something that I will eventually learn and get a little bit more familiar with. And then right over here is a cute looking cactus for $3.97. I really like that a lot. Look at that. And you know, with cactus, I don't really grow cactus in my collection, but that would be something I would visit at some point. I just feel like the reason why I don't grow cactus or succulents is because they require a lot of light. I like the fact that you need to underwater them so you don't have to water them often. And right over here is a jade plant. So here is a Crassula obliqua tricolor. So Kathy, I know you would requested this and you often watch my videos daily. Thank you so much. I will be trying to find more jade plants. So this one is a variegated jade plant. It has some pinks. It's got some creams and whites. Really like that a lot. And I do think that the more light you give it, the more pinks are going to come out. And then the same thing with this plant right here. I cannot pronounce this, so I'm just going to show you the plant ID in the screen. This one is for $3.97. It's so interesting and so tempting to want to like buy a bunch of succulents and make like a succulent arrangement. I know that Home Depot has some really good succulent arrangements in big planters, but you can see they've got a variety of plants here. This is a Portulacaria afra snowflake or snowfall. This one is also some type of jade plant, smaller type jade plant for $4.97. Now I do have a variegated jade plant that I made into a bonsai tree. I have yet to wire it and shape it, but it's doing very well. I put it in a bonsai pot. Now for those that don't know what bonsai are, bonsai is the Japanese art of growing a plant like in a shallow pot, more so like a tree, and really shaping its leaves and making it look like a work of art. And then right over here, I can't pronounce this name as well, but I will flash that out. This is for $4.97. Now this one particularly blooms some beautiful like lavender flowers. And this is a Crassula perforata variegata. So this is another type of jade plant here. This one is for $4.97 by Element Plants. I would think that the variegation would be a little bit more pronounced as you give it more bright light. So really like that a lot. Look at that variegation too. It's got like a cross variegation. I really don't need to be looking at these succulents because they look so interesting. Like this one right here is for $4.97. I can't pronounce the name, but what I do want to talk about is, can you see this? Doesn't this look like spider webs, like some spider web or like an old plant? This plant actually produces it. I don't know what the purpose is of all of the webbing around it, but is a cool looking plant. Like I think it's one of the more unique plants I've run into. I would love to see one that would be like a darker color, like maybe a purple or close to black one with webs. That would be like a nice Halloween type plant, but that's a really cool looking one just because it has some webbing texture around it. And then this is an Echeveria pink diamond. Now Echeverias I am familiar of. I do like the rose look about them, and this one has a beautiful pink tone about it. I do like that a lot. This is for $4.97. I wouldn't mind growing Echeverias. I mean, and the pink diamond, look at that. That is absolutely stunning. I was looking on Etsy for some variegated aeoniums, which is a succulent that I will add to my collection. And I did find some rare looking ones, but that Echeveria pink diamond is gorgeous. And then this is another Echeveria autumn flame. This one may have had overwatering just because some of the leaves or the foliage started to kind of like rot away. So that's the thing about these types of succulents. You don't want to top water them. You would most likely would want to bottom water them. And again, it's one of those types of plants that neglect is better as long as you can give it like full sun or really bright lighting conditions. And then here is another Echeveria. This is a Pearly von Norberg. I can't really pronounce it, but look at this one. You can see that there are some very subtle changes in the color. This one has that iridescent look about it. I love that a lot, and it's another plant that you don't want to let the foliage sit in water, otherwise they will rot away. So it's better to bottom water them. Don't get these wet. And then this one is another Glauca Little Jewel for $4.97. Look at that. So there's just a lot of succulents. So for any plant foldies that grow succulents, please leave care tips and what your favorite succulents are in the comments. And this one is a peperomia or a peperamia asperula. What an interesting looking plant here, and you can see that it's in bloom. They remind me of peperomias, and you can see right there that there is a bloom. That little rat tail thing shows that this is a blooming one, and this one is actually happy. What an interesting texture about it. And what else do we have right over here? We have some more jades and succulents, but I did want to attempt to give you guys a little bit more plant IDs, just because you guys have, stuck around. And then this one right here is an interesting one. I can't really pronounce the name, but you can see that this one looks like it starts to propagate itself and starts to like multiply on its own. And we've got some aloe vera plants. This one is a spring cactus. Look at how gorgeous the blooms are. That bright red tone looks really nice, and that one isn't a bad price at all as well. I don't have any Christmas cactus, Thanksgiving cactus, or spring cactus, but it would be one that I would consider. I've seen some people who are on YouTube actually get them to rebloom again, so that might be something I might cross, but I haven't had the best luck with succulents in general. And now this one is an interesting one. This is a Crassula bleeding heart. What an interesting name. Now this one looks like it needs some water, because typically succulents are a little bit thicker on the foliage. This one looks like it's kind of deflated, so it's needing some water. I do like the undersides of the leaves. It's got a bloody red look about it, so I guess it's the bleeding heart. And then right here is another Kalanchoe fire dragon. Love me some Kalanchoes. The blooming ones, the floral ones we see at like grocery stores, but you can see that this is another Kalanchoe. Interested to see if this one actually blooms as well. I do like the texture and just the shape of this Kalanchoe. And then you can see right over here we've got a Crassula mini jade for $4.97. So here's another jade plant right here. I like the fact that these are a little bit more compact in its growth. I love looking at succulents, and honestly, I wouldn't mind buying that succulent arrangement that I found at Home Depot. I think it was for like $100, but it was huge and had so many succulents. But it'd be nice to do a succulent arrangement, just pick different types of succulents, because they all pretty much have the same care tips. Again, with succulents, you don't want to top water them. You don't want to get their foliage wet. You want to bottom water them if possible, and obviously let the soil dry out completely. I would grow them in more like bonsai cactus succulent mix. You definitely want to have fast draining soil for succulents. And you can see this one right over here is another one. This one is a nice looking one. I like the look of it. It's got like a blue teal, light blue gray tone about it. It's a nice looking one. And I wanted to go outside here and show you what happens at a big box store. So Walmart actually waters their plants by showering them. They've got a sprinkler system, so I'm gonna risk getting a little bit wet here, and it looks like they do this at night. I think this is a good idea, and I think that that's probably the most cost-effective way to water the plants, just because how do you water them like individually? And so that's cool that they have their own little sprinkling system. I haven't seen this ever, so I wanted to go out here and show you it. And I do like the sound of the sprinklers. You know, water sounds in general are very calming. I mean, leave me in the comments below if you ever just listen to like water noise or waterfall. I think those are so soothing to the ear. I go to sleep actually listening to brown noise, and that actually puts me to sleep. But you can see right here, all of these outdoor plants are gorgeous. I do want to return and show you guys these outdoor plants another time during the day, just because I think that it would be a better representation of all the beauty of these plants. But you can see that the sprinklers are full blast and they are watering the plants. Now, the only thing about sprinkler systems, certain plants don't do well being top watered. That would be like roses and azaleas, especially azaleas in bloom. They kind of soak up the blooms, and some of the blooms end up getting like fungus, and it's just not good. Especially with roses, that would be my recommendation, is not to water your rose leaves, and definitely don't water roses at night, just because you need to make sure that their leaves remain dry. And you can see here, they've got a bunch of African marigolds here. So African marigolds are the marigolds that are a little bit larger in their blooms. These would make perfect flowers to make marigold tea. I really want to grow marigold tea just because it's got some good beta carotene properties, which are good for eyesight. And you can see right over here, we've got a bunch of wax begonias. I actually bought this particular pack, and I intend to grow it outside in my patio, maybe grow that indoors. We'll see, but you can see they've got a bunch of marigolds right over here, and some more flowering plants, you know, plants that I will specifically show on in another video. Again, I think it's interesting when I go plant shopping at night, or at least filming at night, because there's not a lot of people walking around, and I can take my time to show you guys the different types of plants. You can see here we've got some petunia plants right here. These are only for $8.97. They're ready to go in a planter, so you can probably grow these outside. Full sun is what I recommend for these outdoor flowering plants. I will be featuring a lot more outdoor plants. I hope that you guys still continue to tune into my videos. I like to show different types of plants, and you can see this is another one. This is a petunia trixie for $17.88. These are the smaller varieties of petunias, and that's the thing about petunias and just plants in general. They are coming up with more hybridized versions of plants. And I just think it's lovely. Every year I want to go check out what types of plants they have. Like, look at this. What a gorgeous looking plant right here. It is a delphinium. I think that's how you pronounce it. I love the shape of the leaves, but also these blooms. And it makes it awesome because it's a perennial. So again, if you grow this in a landscape, these plants will grow and bloom every spring and then eventually die off, you know, during the winter, but will come back up again next year and maybe even like multiply itself. But these remind me of like Texas bluebonnets, but on a larger scale. They do look like bluebonnets, but on a giant scale. And these plants, if you look at these in person, are stunning. Look at that. And the thing about blue flowers are they're actually rare in nature, just blue flowers in general. So this is just really awesome to see. What a showstopper, I would think. And then right over here, and it's right next to some yellow flowers, some yellow marigolds. I do love these yellow African marigolds, and these are for $1.97. That's not a bad price at all for starter marigolds. Again, if you want to get a bunch of marigolds, I would recommend growing them growing them by seed, and you'll get a bunch. Now with marigolds, I've said this before, do not water over fertilize them. They actually do better under fertilized, because especially if the fertilizer has a lot of nitrogen, you'll end up getting more leaves versus blooms. And then right over here we've got a bunch of potato vines. Now these are being offered by Better Homes and Gardens. This is a sweet potato vine, and you can see that it's only for $3.97. I like the packaging that Better Homes and Gardens has. You know, the Better Homes and Garden line for Walmart is that modern contemporary look, and even the plants are very niche looking. I do like this potato vine, this neon looking one. These will grow in full sun, and they are vigorous growers. I've tried to grow potato vines indoors. The problem is growing them indoors, they end up getting spider mites. So really they're more of an outdoor plant. Now, if you grow potato vines in the ground, just be prepared for it to take over the landscape, because these are vigorous growers. It's kind of like if you grow a mint herb in the ground, it is hard to get rid of. They literally multiply, and that's the same thing with potato vines. They're very aggressive and very vigorous growers. You can take multiple cuttings and actually keep producing them. And they just have a bunch of outdoor plants here. And I like the fact that even though this is a smaller space for outdoors, the plants, from what I can see, because I don't really want to go under the sprinklers, they have they're very full and impactful. The plants look healthy. It makes me want to do some outdoor gardening. It makes me want to take like a couple of days to like work on my outdoor space. And you can see that they've got some containers made easy. I like this container one because it has some hibiscus and some cordyline tea plants. Like cordyline tea plants, I think, is that tropical outdoor plant of the hour, and it's the same thing with petunias. I think petunias are the flower of the hour. I am seeing a lot of them, and I'm just loving all of the sprinklers here. Love the rain sounds it gives, and yes, containers are made easy. So plant folies, let me know in the comments if you guys are enjoying this type of content. As always, please make sure you are hitting the like button. I will be ending this video soon, and I will have some special treats, like stay tuned for the Japanese maple nursery that I will be going to. And as always, please like and subscribe to my channel. This is Richie at Grow Folds. Bye.